You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 15th, 2024 meeting of the LaPorte County Board of Zoning Appeals. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right. Good evening. I'd like to call the October 15th meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals to order. If you would rise for the pledge. Doug, would you lead us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I get a roll call, please?
Melissa Mischke.
Here.
Ernie Schmidt.
Here.
Vern Schaefer.
Here.
Deb Vance.
Here.
And John Carr is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the September 17th meeting minutes.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay. So let's get into the petitions this evening. And before we do that, I want to remind everybody to turn your cell phones off and that there is not traditional public comment for the Board of Zoning Appeals. Public comment is in the form of remonstrance. So if you are for or against a petition, when that petition comes up, that's your time to speak. Okay? So with that, let's start with petition number 1, which is a petition for special exception for Kingsbury Investments LLC and Nexus IN RNG LaPorte LLC, and by counsel Andrew Volts of Dave Ambers and Associates PC, for a facility that will provide for the production of natural gas from organic material for the property located at 3500 East Central Road, LaPorte, Washington Township, zoned M2 on 28.766 acres.
Notice adequate.
All right, and would you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, good evening. My name is Andrew Volts. I'm an attorney with David Ambers and Associates at 601 State Street, Suite B. We are here on a petition for kind of combined thing, variance and special exception. And I'm sorry, that's 601 State Street, Suite B in LaPorte, 46530. Now, as for some of the background here, there were findings of fact and conclusions of law for a special exception that came through back in 2018. And that's attached to the packet as Petitioner's Exhibit 5.
Right.
We're dovetailing on that. The issue here is, well, number one, there is no definition for what Nexus intends to do. When you look at permitted uses for M2 under manufacturing, there are a number of issues that actually are permitted, with the only exception being food processing, and that's where we get into a little bit of an issue here. So I'm going to go back to this now. What Nexus intends to do is they are going to construct a facility of which you have the drawings, you have the plans, you have all that, which is going to wind up, let's boil it all the way down, recycling organic waste. And what that means is they are sourcing biological waste, and I'm not talking about trash, I'm talking about biological waste. And they're bringing it here to LaPorte County, and then they're going to turn it into natural gas, and it's going to get dumped into NIPSCO's line. They have a capital investment upwards of $70 million, including 5.4 to 6.3 to NIPSCO, because NIPSCO doesn't know what they're doing. I know that's shocking to you. They have a meeting today, at some point today, where they were going to consolidate all of their requirements with this influx of I don't know how else to describe it except for gas. It's methane. But it is molecularly the same as anything else in the pipeline. So, Nexus and their partners chose LaPorte County because, and I'm going to quote here, bear with me. LaPorte is a great place, number one. Number two, this is going to be a flagship location. They're going to use this to develop these facilities across the country. And again, what we're talking about here is a facility that is taking organic food waste. It's not trash. It's organic food waste, whether it's coming from a chicken processing plant or a meat plant or whatever. It's food waste. And then it winds up getting stuck in a container, stuck in a tank, and then it decomposes and creates gas. And that gas, boom, gets pumped. Then, and we're going to call it the digestate, which is what's remaining, winds up being recycled as fertilizer or anything else. And I have two representatives from this company here right now that can come up and speak about any of this. If you would like that to happen.
Andrew, can you kind of just give me an idea? We previously granted this in 2018.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're here tonight because it's expired.
It expired, correct.
And are there any changes from the time that...
Not that I'm aware of. I could speak to...
I didn't really see anything when I went through the packet.
I just wanted to make sure that I was covering all the bases with this with regards to both the variance and special exception, which is why I included all of those items that don't necessarily apply to the variance. And again, just to go ahead and look forward with this,
And
the facility is enclosed, meaning where the trucks come in, enclosed. So if there are any concerns with odor issues or anything else like that, it's not going to be a problem. We're talking about 1.4 million pounds a year of food waste that's going to come in here. And what that's going to do then is produce methane. And that methane is going to be pumped into the pipeline, and this is going to supply upwards of 35 full-time jobs, let alone 185 to begin with. And this is in KIP. It is a marvelous location for something like this. But again, I want to run back to that. This would be a flagship location for this country. LaPorte, Indiana. And whether or not a variance or a special exception is needed, I don't know. Especially looking at...
my comment here is that we're not the final say on the plant going in per se. I know there still is permits they need to get from Kingsbury Utilities that have not been completed. So there's going to be other requirements that they still have to meet.
Certainly, and the
clear.
biggest one is NIPSCO. That's the biggest one.
Okay.
Because if they get the gas, which they're going to get, they got to have a place to put it. But they have to have the opportunity to get the gas in order to figure out a place to put it.
So we do have a letter of remonstrance from Senator Mike Bohachik that is in favor of the facility. Do we have any other remonstrators tonight that are either for or against this facility? Would you like to come up and speak and say your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Earl Miller. I work at Kingsbury Castings on 3rd Road. So what I have to say is more of a question. We don't know what road they're gonna use to access this facility, and not only just the 35 employees, but the trucks coming in and out. Third Road is a private road. All the roads out there are private road. And we've had to maintain our own roads and put up hundreds of thousands of dollars, us along with other of our neighbors along Third and Central, and just want to make sure that if they're going to use our road, that they need to participate in that.
Thank you. I think the proposed location is actually closer to Fifth Road in Central. All right, Earl, come on.
Yeah, that is the case. However,
They're all gravel, am I correct? Central, Fifth, Third.
no.
Third is paved.
No. We put hundreds of thousands of dollars into
But Fifth
paving.
and Central are both gravel.
Part of Central. There's part of Central that has been repaired this year.
Okay.
All of the access in the back. So folks, even on Fourth Road, have helped to. There's a consortium of owners out there that have gotten together recently and pooled our money to repair and maintain the roads. And even folks on Fourth Road are using our road. Folks on Central Road are using our road. Some folks on Fifth have come across on Central. So
Okay, let's see what
it's
we
an area. Yeah.
come up with. Thank you. Any other remonstrators that are for or against this project? All right, hearing and seeing none.
Well, Madam President, just to respond to that, these individuals with Nexus, and again, I have three gentlemen here that are representatives of the company in one way, shape, or form, including one that used to be an attorney. There would be no issue in any way, shape, or form with collaboration with any of these other entities that are out there to maintain the roadways. And the biggest part of this is, and again, I'm gonna go back to it. This is the opportunity for LaPorte to be great and to be a flagship location for an operation that is cutting edge. This is cutting edge. This is using organic materials to create methane and then taking the refuse, for lack of a better term, or the digestate and turning it into fertilizer. End goal and use is it's gone. It's gone.
Mr. Volz, if I may,
Yes, sir.
but this section is only response to remonstrances, so.
Okay. Well, I'm just responding to the remonstrance, I suppose.
I want to make sure the board's aware, this was granted October 8 in 2018.
Right.
They didn't get the project started, it was granted. They didn't get the project started in time. The reason we call this a special exception to begin with was there's nothing in the zoning code because it's so new. So typically what we'll do is if we have a new technology come like we did with the battery facility a couple years ago, we'll call it a special exception so the board can take a look at it. But I just want to make sure you folks were clear on the history with this. I don't see any significant change from the last petition.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of questions regarding the roads, which was on my list already. So how many trucks are we talking about per day? What are their weights? And are there plans to improve the roads since they are gravel in that section?
Got Ted and Ryan here.
And if Ted and Ryan, if you would state your names and addresses for the record, please.
Yes, certainly. My name is Edward Niblock. I am Vice President of Development for Nexus W2V. We are headquartered in Greenville, South Carolina. I believe our address is 22 South Main Street in Greenville. Don't tell my boss, I forgot the zip code. And with me is Ryan Patterson, who is the Senior Project Manager on this particular project, and his business address is the same. We figured we could answer questions rather than,
Sure.
Andrew knows everything. We've been working together, but we can probably answer more quickly. The first answer, well, actually, please, let's, if we could entertain your questions.
So my first question is, how many trucks are going to be coming in and out of the facility?
10 to 15 a day.
And how much do they weigh approximately?
They weigh roughly 20,000 pounds apiece.
Okay, so they're gravel roads right there at the site itself. Getting to and from the site, are there plans to improve the roads, not only for your own equipment, but like Mr. Miller is concerned about the area that the neighbors and other business owners have contributed?
Absolutely. So it's a very fair question. So at this point in time, there's no direct plans to make any improvements. Now, we do have plans to maintain the roads as they are privately owned in that industrial park. We've actually started working with the actual property owners in that area that will be affected off of Fifth Road to work with them as we develop this project to see what we can come to an agreement on.
And when we say there's no immediate plan, all that means is that we hadn't really gotten to the point of getting in touch with other folks in the park. And we were actually very happy to hear.
All right, Earl, when this is over, you're going to get exchange numbers
Yes,
with each
exactly.
other.
Because we have been asking the seller of the parcel how to begin trying to cooperate with other parcel owners to make sure that the roads do everything they need to do safely, for all of our projects. So we will be doing that. We just didn't want to represent to you that we had a whole plan all laid out. That we don't have that yet.
Okay. What kind of questions do you guys have?
My questions were similar. Obviously, you're going to want to get together with your neighbors and talk about maintaining the area. What happens to the? This is kind of a composting thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's anaerobic digestion.
Is that what you say?
It is similar, yes. It's a different process, but it's
done. It's done in tanks, or is it done in windrows?
It's different from composting in that it is anaerobic and not aerobic. So composting is aerobic. They, as you say, they use windrows and things like that. This is an enclosed, oxygen deprived. So it is a gigantic. How big is the tank?
The tank we have 2 tanks that are roughly 1.1 million gallons.
So it's a digester.
It's a digester. Yes.
Okay.
So it's a big stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is very similar to what they do on some of the large dairy farms.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Very similar.
Okay. That's my only question.
Okay. I guess that's all the questions that we have as a board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. So, hearing and seeing no further remonstrators, we've answered questions. What's the pleasure of the board?
One thought. Can you please make sure you exchange phone numbers?
Yeah, we're on it.
We're way ahead of you, Andrew. So let us entertain a motion here.
Doesn't surprise me.
I move that we grant this special exception petition from Kingsbury Investments and Nexus in RNG.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, good luck. All right, let's move on to petition number 2, which is a variance for developmental standards for James W. and Lois Seymour sellers and Jenna Francisconi buyer for construction of a primary residence on a lot with 80 feet of frontage instead of the minimum required 200 feet. Property is located north of 101 South Forester Road, LaPorte, New Durham Township, zoned ag on 7.2 acres.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Jenna Francisconi, 515 Closser Ave, LaPorte.
I'm Zach Kiger at 515 Closser Ave as well.
Okay. So talk to me about this road frontage.
So we are in the process of purchasing a 12-acre parcel. The front part, there's 2 parcels, and the front parcel that is on the road has 80 foot of frontage. And then it goes back and opens up wide. I'm not exactly sure the footage back there, but it's much wider, and over 12 acres back there. So we do only have 80 foot of road frontage right now. So that's what the variance would be for, since we don't have 200 square feet.
And it looks like you're going to build significantly east of that road frontage.
Correct.
Okay. Let's just see what we've got. Do we have any remonstrators tonight that are here for or against this petition? Not you, Bob. You can. Okay. Anybody for or against this petition? Okay. Let's see what kind of questions we have.
You're just planning a single-family dwelling here and a pole barn.
Correct.
And, obviously, if we grant this It's only for that. You can't add more homes later on or anything else. It's not for a subdivision.
Correct. No, it would be just for the barn and the house.
Ernie,
Is there a possibility of more
get in your microphone.
from, getting more footage from Seymour?
No. The property next to us, who we are actually purchasing from, James and Lois Seymour, that's where their residential home and their business is. So that property, we couldn't acquire any more of that. And then the other side is farmland, and they, I don't believe, are interested in selling any portion of that.
What about you, Deb? If there are no further questions from the board, there are no remonstrators, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we grant the petition for variance of developmental standards for James and Lois Seymour and Jenna Friend. I'm gonna butcher that. Fire for the construction of a primary residence on a lot with 80 feet.
I second it. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Good luck, and please make sure you contact your fire department, local fire department, and get your address posted and let them know that you're gonna be back there.
Okay.
For safety purposes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, petition number 3 tonight is a variance of developmental standards for Dale G. and Deborah J. Elliott for placement of a mobile home to care for elderly parents. Property is located at 5382 South Wozniak Road, Westville, New Durham Township, zoned ag on 7.2 acres.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. Good evening. If you would, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Yep. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Debbie and Dale Elliott,
What's your address?
5382 South Wozniak Road, Westville, Indiana.
Okay? And you want to put a mobile home on your property?
Not a mobile home, a manufactured home.
Okay?
And I do have pictures and other information I can give you.
We've got them, I believe.
I think we do too, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I mean about the house that's gonna go in there.
Okay, yeah. Would you approach and... Thank you. So, whose parent is coming to stay?
So,
Is it your parent or
No,
No,
my
it's
son
us.
coming in for us.
your son's coming to take care of you?
Right.
well,
Outstanding.
he's been out of work for almost 2 years. Last year, he ended up, his back went out, so he was out of work from February until November. Went back to work for 6 months and then fractured his ankle on both sides. And he's been out of work since then, and he's still out of work.
Okay.
So we've relied on my son a lot for just mowing the lawn and weed eating and doing a lot of other things. And even before that, because of his back.
Kind of a... Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just even back in 2022, his back didn't allow us to get as much stuff done as what we wanted to do.
So we're looking at manufactured homes similar to those that are in New Durham estates.
No, not even close. It's one of the better houses in there. If you take a look at the house, it has a 512 pitch roof. It's completely drywall. Look through all the pictures. It's nothing like the majority of the houses in there. It's a Rochester home, and the lady that bought it, she paid cash for that when she first bought that house. And at that time, it was like $20,000 more than the majority of the houses.
And you're going to pick it up, if we approve this, you're going to pick this up from New Durham Estates and move it to your property?
Yes, and we already have their blessing. We've had both two set companies go in and look at the house and give us an estimate. They've said that there would be no problem in moving the house onto either a crawl space or a basement.
And which are your plans?
We're not real sure yet. We're not sure whether we want to go whatever we can afford. We have estimates and I've submitted those from both departments, so more and more. And
so you're actually trying to put a second residence on the parcel, a second home. If you're talking about putting in a basement, generally a mobile home to take care of someone
It's not
else.
a mobile home, they're
Well, I'm
manufactured,
speaking.
I'm sorry.
So if it is a mobile home to take care of elderly parents, in this case being yourselves, we would expect that the home would be removed at some point. So that's what moving a mobile home in to take care of somebody is, as opposed to a second home located on the same structure that's going to stay there.
That's what we want to do. See,
Okay.
we have a manufactured home too, and ours was put on a basement. We have a full walkout.
I understand that.
Manufactured.
So if you
This house is nicer than our house.
are you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to re-advertise this? Because that isn't what we advertised. If one of you want to speak to it.
So I believe there were wheels on this at once. Ray from More and More called me and I had to explain the difference between mobile home and manufactured. There's slightly difference with our values. That's why it's worded this way. Also, they're supposed to be splitting this off so it will be on its own parcel.
How large is that parcel?
It's going to be buildable.
Well, it's 7 acres right now, right?
It'll have at least an acre and
It'll be 2
200.
acres or 1 acre or what?
It'll have at least an acre and 200 feet of frontage.
Okay, so it will be
Yes.
separate eventually. You haven't done that yet?
They wanted to get the approval first
Well,
and then
I
split it.
think if what was advertised is what's in our agenda, it does not match what we're going to do right now, what we're listening to.
If they're gonna split it, why are they here? Why don't they just split it?
Why don't they just sell the,
Well,
The old one?
it's a manufactured home.
Manufactured home. They haven't called
Ma'am.
houses.
I think we gotta re-advertise.
I think we need to re-advertise it because it's not considered a mobile home if it's a manufactured home. So now the petition is, we're gonna put 2 residences on one parcel.
Yeah.
Or what probably should happen is if your intent is to split this acreage, you should probably do that first. And then you're building a house on a piece of land that meets the criteria.
you don't need a variance?
And you don't need a variance.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's give Attorney Beachy a second here.
Well, no, I agree with you. I mean, if either split it, it would be better just to split it.
I agree.
We could talk about manufactured and mobile afterwards, but if you split it, you don't need a variance.
Oh, well, that's good to
Okay.
know.
Yeah. Okay, well, we gotta talk about the specifics on the house, whether we need a variance on a mobile home, but yeah, split it first.
Okay.
Makes their decision a lot easier.
Then what do we do? Then what's the process after?
Well, you can talk to Mike about that after.
Right, I was
Come
gonna
see
say,
us.
so
Okay.
basically, I don't even wanna say table this because we're not necessarily gonna table this. But if you get in touch with the building commissioner's office, they can, direct you on splitting the acreage. And then you're basically just putting a residence on a piece of property that is buildable. And then we don't need a variance at all.
Okay.
Okay,
Good to know.
so I'm gonna return this to you, and I'm going to ask you to get in touch with the building department and go from there.
Okay.
Okay.
And then if we need to re-advertise and do something else, then we can do that too.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So you're gonna show this as dismissed?
I am.
Hang out.
Excuse me
I
just a
agree with
second.
that.
Everybody agrees on that, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Making it more complicated than it needs to be.
All right, so we're gonna dismiss petition number 3, and we're gonna move on to petition number 4, which is a variance of developmental standards, thank you, for Larry Housen Seller and Christopher Thor Martin Buyer for construction of a pole barn with loft living quarters on a lot without a primary home, and with a height of 20 feet instead of the max 18.
No, this is adequate.
Thank you.
Well, I want to put out there to the public that I have a vested interest in this, so I'm going to abstain from the vote.
I'm Ms. Vance.
All right, so if you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Sure. My name is Christopher Thor Martin. I own a residence with my family at 7685 North Orchard Lane in New Carlisle.
Okay. So, Christopher, you're trying to buy this property?
Yes.
And your intent is to put a barn dominium, which is not my favorite term, but that's the colloquial term. So why don't you tell us about that? That the intent, the reason that we need to do the barn and loft, and go from there.
Sure. We're looking for storage space. Our property is not very far from that, less than a quarter mile, but it's too far to be building a garage without a residence. There is a residence there right now, but it's obviously going to be removed. It's falling apart. So yeah, and then we wanted to have overflow space, thus the barn dominium, which was a term new to me too in this process.
And can you tell me the reason for the height change?
Sure. I think it's that the residence would be above it. The loft space would be above the garage space. So I think 20 feet is, it's not going to be any more than that. I don't even know if it's going to be above the 18 feet, but it'd just be one floor of garage space and then into a loft space above it.
Do we have any remonstrators tonight, either for or against this petition? Any remonstrators for petition? What kind of questions do we have as a board?
Will all the buildings be removed?
That's the plan. We're engaging with a contractor now to give us a quote on removing all of it, both the house and there's also a shed that's also falling apart there. So that would all be removed in addition to the minimal foundation that it has. No full basement or anything.
Yeah, so they'll clean up everything.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are you planning on this being a full-time residence then? Is that the case?
It could be down the road, but not really. I know my mother has an interest in, having a little space there. She enjoys the house that we're at too, but it's nice to have a little more space.
Living quarters upstairs, what's the access and to the living quarters?
Yes, the plan would be that there's a stairwell up into that second floor. It'd be, I think they call it a Gabriel style roof.
Gambrel.
Gambrel.
Yes. Excuse me.
I see the drawing.
Yeah.
And that's what triggered my question. And obviously, don't really have a really good design here, but we don't really have any control of this. But if you're going to have a residence there, obviously you have to meet certain codes.
Yes.
For escape and everything else, because it's upstairs.
Yes.
Only. I got nothing.
Ernie, what else do you have questions?
I'll have to work with the building department so we get the proper egress and stuff out of there for
Absolutely.
all your windows and all your stairways, exterior.
So who will be staying there?
Right now, nobody. It's intended for garage space, but we wanted to have flexibility. There's sewer planned to be coming to that area, so we want to build in anticipation of that.
And you understand that if we were to approve this, there would be no renting
Right.
of it?
No, it's only for overflow of family.
Okay. All right, let me check one more time. Is there anybody for or against this petition? Okay, seeing and hearing no remonstrators, I will entertain a motion. Not from you.
I'll make a motion, we grant this petition.
Second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, your motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Petition number 5 tonight is a petition of variance of developmental standards for Stephen A. Olson Trust seller and Michael Wozniak buyer for construction of a primary residence on a lot with 150 feet of frontage instead of 200 minimum required. Property is located north of 2004, north 1000 east, Mill Creek, Wills Township. Zoned ag on 8 acres.
Notice adequate.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record.
Michael Wozniak, 8951 East Chicago Road, New Carlisle, Indiana.
Great. Rhonda Ashcraft, 105 Caroline Drive, Walkerton, Indiana.
And your relationship to this petition is?
I'm his girlfriend.
Okay. Very good. All right, so explain to me the situation with the lack of 200 feet of road frontage. Let's just go with that.
Currently, we're trying to purchase the land. We want the variance because right now there's only 150 feet. And we don't have the 250 feet of frontage. The property does go back, straight back, and then it opens up into a larger kind of L-shaped area, and it is all wooded.
Okay, are there any remonstrators tonight for this petition? Okay, if you would have a seat. I know that we did get some written remonstrance regarding this. If you'd like to step up to the podium, whoever's speaking first, and state your name and address.
Katie Grillo and my husband Brandon Grillo. Our address is 2004 North, 1000 East, Mill Creek.
Okay, and what is your concern?
I'm sorry, a little nervous.
That's all right, take a deep breath.
And my husband and I are here today because we are opposed to the petition of the variance exception for the construction of primary residence on the lot that we are attached to. My Aunt Shirley Doms and I divided off the 2-acre parcel from the original 10-acre parcel, specifically making sure that the remainder road frontage was less than 200 feet so that no one could build to the side of us or behind us. Zoning laws such as requirements for 200 feet of frontage exist for a reason. Allowing exceptions could set a precedent that undermines the integrity of the county zoning standards. Zoning regulations help protect our home as well as our community by ensuring residents aren't exposed to loud noises or high traffic. A new building would lead to increased traffic, noise, and disruption, which would impact the quality of life in our home. We also have environmental concerns. Constructions would affect the natural resources such as trees and wildlife. Disrupting animal movement and plant dispersal could lead to biodiversity loss. Our small community is dedicated to preventing the spread of development into undevelopmented areas. Along with these important reasons, the biggest is property value impact. New construction would negatively affect the value of our property due to the proximity of a permanent residence. My husband and I would have never built our house on the lot had we thought that the remaining lot would be billable. We were not planning on ever having anyone live behind us or beside us. My aunt and I split the parcel this way based off of the county rules and regulations so that our house could never be built behind. For these reasons, we are opposed to the petition of the variance exception.
So who is your aunt?
My aunt is Shirley Doms. She has since passed away.
And she is not in the trust, or?
Unfortunately, she was ill. She did have a will. She was ill at the time. She had to go into the nursing home. So my cousin Steve Olson had her sign up a trust, gave everything to him. Unfortunately, things did not work out the way we thought they were.
Right. Probably you should have purchased this property when you had the chance.
We tried. It's kind of been a circle with Steve. We are still trying, but unfortunately we've seen this pop up, so
okay.
We're here to fight it.
I certainly can understand your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have another remonstrator. Come on up and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, I am Eric Boakland. I live at 2061 North 1000 East, Mill Creek, Indiana, 46365.
I'm Joyce Ward. I live at 2041 North at 1000 East at Mill Creek, Indiana.
I basically prepared a statement, more of a letter, perhaps. But I am Eric Boakland III. I've lived at 2061 North 1000 East for 22 years now. My late father, Eric Boakland Jr., built the house that I currently reside in back in 1996. And the property where I reside is across the street from the property that is trying to be bought. My argument against buying is mainly just considering nature and wildlife. My father used to hunt deer on the land that is within the proximity of what is trying to be bought. And he explained a lot of information to me about the wildlife in the area, which now that he has passed, I've kept an eye on. When I was very young, the deer population used to be through the roof. I could look out at the window at night, see 20 to 30 deer. And then now I'm lucky to see one every few weeks. As I grew older, my father explained to me that there was a disease affecting the deer called the blue tongue disease. This brought the deer population down greatly, and while that happened, the coyotes saw an opportunity. They ran in packs of 20 or more, howling every single night. They preyed on the deer, so the deer had to relocate. As the packs grew, they continued on to eating more than just deer. And this sounds like a natural thing that happens. However, I rarely hear a howl in the night from the dominant predators anymore. The wildlife populations such as deer, coyotes, pheasants, turtle doves, and turkeys have diminished to almost nothing out there. And this is not even including the waning of possum, raccoons, and squirrels, and I believe buying this property would have a significant impact on the complete downfall of the wildlife that is near. And there has already been a large amount of agricultural land that has been bought and sold just a few miles north of us, and it's being replaced with concrete and huge buildings. So my question is where will tearing down the wildlife habitat stop? Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have further comments, ma'am? I've just been there for 23 years, and yeah, I agree with everything he has said because it's open land, it's wildlife land is actually what it is, and no, we don't want to see any more homes go up in that area and everything for that reason. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
If you guys would like to come back up. I have a question. Are you under contract right now?
It's all varying pending on
this variance. So basically, if anybody else wanted to purchase that land, they should have gotten in before you. This is
correct.
Correct.
So if we wanted to preserve our wildlife, then maybe we should have purchased the land. If we didn't want to see homes next to us, we should have probably tried to purchase that land. Because you are in a situation where, should we approve this variance, the purchase goes through, you're gonna build a home.
Correct. Yes. And we're not going to disrupt no more than we need to just build the home.
Okay. Very good. I think everybody here tonight has witnessed that the whole point of this board is to make exceptions to our zoning rules and regulations. And earlier tonight, we approved a petition for someone who was building without 200 feet of road frontage. So that is something that we do when we feel it's appropriate. So if there are any other questions from the board, Vern.
I don't really have any questions. I agree with what Melissa said, that this property is available. It needs to be, if you want to watch wildlife, I guess you buy the property and watch the wildlife. But if you don't want to buy the property, then it's up to the purchaser to decide what they want to do with it. Now, obviously, I agree that I like to look at wildlife also, but I also know that if I own a piece of property, I want to be able to use it. Mm-hmm. So that's just my opinion.
Well, if there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion for this petition.
I'll make a motion, we grant this petition.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Petition number 6 this evening is a petition for special exception for Jacob and Kirby Dower for the keeping of 12 chickens maximum for the property located at 5587 North, 600 West, Michigan City, Springfield Township, zoned R1B on 2.21 acres.
Notice adequate.
Hi. Oh. I'm Kirby Dower. I live at 5587 North, 600 West, Michigan City, Indiana.
Okay.
I'm Jacob Dower. I live at the same address.
Okay. Let's talk chickens. You want 12 chickens?
Maximum.
How many hens are we talking out of 12?
12.
Thank you.
That's outstanding.
We're chicken mathing it. We're assuming less
I think
than that.
then
but,
you should
know.
probably consider like 6. Chicken math goes the other direction.
Yeah.
6, and then you work your way up to 12. But do we have any neighbors that are against it or for it? Anybody?
No, we had 3 neighbors sign, and then there were 3 others. One was the railroads, one was Zorn, and then one was a vacant house. And we sent that out to them, but I haven't. They're not here, so.
Do you have children that you're going to try and teach?
Yeah, we have 2 children, one 3-year-old
chickening,
and one 7-month-old. Yeah, we will teach chickening, and we garden, I guess.
Okay, very good.
These are confined, right? You're talking about
Yes.
confined. They can't run free.
No.
No.
As you know, they come home and go to bed.
Or they get eaten.
All right. Are there any remonstrators for petition number 6? Okay.
Don't think so.
Just out of curiosity, what kind of containment are you considering?
We have an existing building that we've kind of already started to build a run for.
Okay.
Because we didn't realize we needed to do this yet.
I know you're pretty wooded, but you might want to consider netting or something for hawks.
Yeah.
So, okay. If there's
Do you see this?
no.
They've got it already.
Oh, beautiful.
Got the chickens, you got the top on.
Okay. If there are no further questions, I have chickens. That's why our attorney's making faces at me.
I don't like chickens. My sister made me whole one once, and it was horrible.
Okay.
And we have coined the term urban chickens. So that's... All right, if there are no further questions from this board, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I move that we grant this variance.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, and I want to be clear that there are no roosters.
No.
Okay. Very good. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, one more. I love chickens. I love chickens. All right.
Grant this one too.
Petition number 7, and thank you for your patience, is a special exception for Craig O'Donnell for raising of no more than 12 chickens at the property located at 2566 North Pinebrook Drive, LaPorte, Cool Spring Township, zoned R1A.
It's my turn.
Notice adequate.
Very good. State your name and address for the record.
Craig O'Donnell, 2566 North Pinebrook Drive, LaPorte, Indiana, 46350.
And Craig, are we, oh, go ahead.
And I'm Kayla Cadwell at the same address.
All right. What is your name?
What's your name?
My name
Sorry.
You got it. What is...
My name is Odin.
Okay, Odin. Do you want chickens?
You want chickens?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. So you're looking for 12 maximum.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
And are they going to be hens? You're going to have
Yeah,
a
well,
rooster?
we had 2 roosters, but we got rid of them once we found out we couldn't have them.
They're kind of noisy.
Yeah.
Men. All right. Do we have any remonstrators tonight, either for or against the chickens? Come on up.
It's me.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll be backing up.
It's okay.
I like that. Nice setup. Okay, good.
Hi, I'm Kathy Callan, and my address is 2565 North Pinebrook Drive, LaPorte. And the O'Donnells and I are on the end of a cul-de-sac, So I'm their next door neighbor, and I have no problem with them having chickens. I didn't have a problem with them having that rooster, but it's gone now, so. But I have no problems with chickens. so.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so no more than 12 hens. They've got a run, I see. And a tractor, a building, yep. Okay. What kind of questions do we have?
Hey.
You're not gonna have roosters, correct?
No, we are not going to do that again. We learned our lesson. And I also want to say our chickens that we have now, Odin has incubated and he learned all about it and he raised the chickens from egg to.
Very good.
Well, with my help.
Of course, but.
He'll be at the fair with the
Soon, yes.
Okay. Very good. There are no further questions from the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to pass this ordinance.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Okay, say
All right, Odin, you get to keep all your chickens.
thank
All your
you.
chickens.
Sorry. I love the enthusiasm. All right, is there any further business in front of the board this evening?
I have a concern about the extreme chicken bias on this board right now.
As long as they're not roosters.
Seriously for everyone else, because I can't have chickens.
No roosters ever. All right, if there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I
Yeah.
make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, everybody, thank you.